Welcome to the Mediabox. Titus Corlăţean here to talk about your report on amending the Council of Europe Convention on the Prevention of Terrorism. Why did you look into this and why now?
As I told you previously, why not? But very seriously, please think to the fact that the main convention of the Council of Europe concerning terrorism, it was called Preventing Terrorism, not Combating Terrorism, by the way, was adopted in 2005, the so-called Warsaw Convention. Many things happened since then. So we needed to adapt for properly fighting terrorism through the first ever international legally binding definition that was introduced through this protocol. Criminal offenses and criminal challenges like cyberterrorism or environmental terrorism were not taken seriously into consideration at that time in 2005. So this is essentially why we needed to update our legal tools for correctly combating terrorism.
And what recommendations are you making in terms of how to do this?
Well, essentially I support it, and the statutory opinion that I proposed to the plenary and was adopted almost unanimously is endorsing the draft that was negotiated by the governments with some nuances. I insisted to introduce precise wording, a credible and serious threat, instead of letting somehow a more vague definition concerning these threats. We need to be extremely precise when dealing and using democratic tools to combat terrorism. This was my first amendment. The second one is more a proposal addressed to the Committee of Ministers to add within the explanatory report a supplementary phrase that will describe even better the fact that we separate things. Combating terrorism is essential, but we need to avoid mistakes. The misuse of combating terrorism, and in the same time the possibility that some governments might use this important fighting against criminal attitudes, which we describe as terrorist offenses, in the same time putting pressure on fundamental freedoms and liberties, putting under pressure the freedom of speech, and not allowing even shocking or some other type of political attitudes, rhetorics, just because they are disturbing our comfort. This it doesn't mean that within a democratic society that this can be described as terrorist offenses. And last but not least, I suggested on a second stage to take seriously into consideration through a maybe during a future more general update of the Warsaw Convention, to take into account the need to introduce an exemption, humanitarian exemption. Humanitarian NGOs doing important things should not be considered subject only based on very concrete evidence that they are doing terrorist things. You know what why I'm making this reference. So all in all, the Assembly supported my proposal.
Titus Corlăţean, thanks for speaking to us.
Thank you so much.